Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. You're watching Newsroom. I'm your host, Khalid. But today is the 23rd of January 2025. These are the stories that we'll understand, try to decipher during the course of our show. We'll begin with the Peca Act, the Prevention of Electronic Crimes Amendment Bill 2025 that has been passed by the National Assembly. It was tabled in the National Assembly a day ago by the Law Minister Azam Nazir Tarar and was referred to the Standing Committee. This was of course a private bill, nevertheless it changes and certain new modifications have been made as far as the control and how to take care as far as the information paradigm of Pakistan is concerned, specifically in the age of social media. We'll be trying to understand different modalities of this act and the importance of this act in this day and age in our first segment. Our second story, ladies and gentlemen, will be the road to hepatitis-free Pakistan by the year 2030. Hepatitis C, as you very well know, is one of the lethal diseases, and the fact is that this is the strongest form, may I say, or the most lethal form of hepatitis in the A, B and C categories. The fact is that the government wants now to have a hepatitis-free Pakistan or hepatitis C free Pakistan by the year 2030. How important is the control of hepatitis? Is it controllable, especially when it comes to the small areas or the villages? We'll understand that through our specialists in our second segment. Then we are going to talk about 47 universities from Pakistan who have now made it to the Times Higher Education World University Rankings for 2025. Qureshi University has been ranked between 401 and 500 in the rankings, followed by several other institutions between 601 and 800. So, of course, Qureshi University is topping as far as Pakistani universities are concerned. Finally, we'll be talking about interesting development in the US courts of law, where it has been ruled that elephants are not people and therefore they cannot have the same levels of rights as people have. Now, a bid to free 5 elephants from a Colorado zoo has been rejected after this court ruled elephants were not people. Your call, but we'll of course be adding it as far as this show is concerned. Let's begin and let's talk about the Peca Act that has now been passed by the National Assembly. This is an amendment bill to the country's cyber crime laws. To discuss more on that, we've been joined by Daniyal Sheikh. He's a political analyst and he's right here with us in the studios. Thank you very much, Daniyal, to have joined us. Daniyal, the Peca Act is nothing new as far as Pakistan is concerned, but now an amendment to this Peca Act has been passed. How do you view the Peca Act and the proposed changes as far as this Peca Act is concerned? How do you view them as well in the current socio-political context of Pakistan?
Well, it was first of all to have an effective regulatory authority to control the social media, or not control, rather to regularize or bring it in some healthy framework was very important. Having said that, so basically one of the amendment, now it's going to be a tribunal. Now the commendable thing in this is that the tribunal is going to have people from different professional walks of life, and then the head of the tribunal is going to be or the regulatory authority, he's going to have power equivalent to a high court judge, and then the right to appeal in the Supreme Court has been given. So now coming back, see, earlier cybercrime was being dealt by the FIA, and also and electronic media was being controlled by PEMRA, but there was a overlap of authority. People didn't know which platform to approach, and secondly, see, social media being a new concept, especially in the third world, and now our overwhelming majority is the young people. So having a control and check and balance on the use of social media was very important, especially considering the fact that unfortunately we have very hostile neighbors who are continuously trying to destabilize the country, especially right now that now we are on track towards economic prosperity, and it's very important that a positive image amongst the youth is created, so they start playing a positive role in the development. See, now as far as if you just look at society generally, if I'm moving my hand, it's not an issue. but if my hand is touching you or somebody else, it becomes an issue. So similarly, the use of social media, if it is causing mental distress to others, or even especially in some cases it's exploited, the religious element is exploited, and a lot of false news is shared, and then that becomes a big ruckus, and without any investigation, so often people are blamed of blasphemy and other such acts. So it's very important to bring social media in a legal framework. But after having said this, after doing this, one more thing that the government should definitely look into, which is to educate people in the use of how to use social media. That is also very important, because you see, like I said,
that is what is also part of it. It is this new Amendment Act proposes the establishment of the Social Media Protection and Regulatory Authority, which will perform a range of functions related to social media, such as education, awareness, training, regulation, enlistment, and blocking. So I mean, this is where we come.
This is where we are heading. So it is very important. And now, you know, another commendable thing that was done in this is, see, as far as FIA is concerned, it was a law enforcement agency. Now, as far as this is concerned, it's going to have people from the journalist community, people from the law enforcement, people from the judiciary, which was very, very important. See, now, like I said earlier, social media being a new concept, before implying or before regulating it, it was very important that the authority that is regulating it, it should have people from different walks of life, and their decisions should there should be a consensus amongst them, so that the people don't feel restrained in any matter when it comes to their fundamental rights, which is to express themselves. So it's going to it was need of the hour, and like I said earlier.
But one more thing that I want to add to it is the fact, I mean, I'd like to understand something that has really affected Pakistan, especially through our neighborhood country and others within the country who have tried to portray certain things in a very negative light, and that is disinformation or fake news. Now, concerning fake news, there is a new provision, section 26A to Peca, to penalize the perpetrators of fake news online. It talks about 3 years or a fine that may be extended to 2 million or both. Do you feel this, it was high time that we added something like this, so that people will think twice before putting online news that is fake, because we see that all the time on social media platforms?
See, now it's very interesting that you said this. See, if two people get into a quarrel, or they come into a fight, or they attack each other or hurt each other, or some other crime is committed, it's amongst individuals. Now this crime affects the society collectively. Like, you know, there's an analogy that I'm going to give you regarding this. Like, amongst the youth, the use of amongst the youth, there's a lot of hopelessness, there's a lot of depression because of this fake news. Now, because of it's basically affecting the whole functioning of society, or it does affect. See, it's basically what was needed was to what is needed, or the whole concept behind social media was to positively bring the nation together and educate them on the positives, or the, whereas over here some elements are using it in the opposite way, which is causing a lot of because of that, a lot of people have very pessimistic views when it comes to the future.
You know, it completely undermines the narrative building process as far as Pakistan is concerned. The fact is that such a lot of fake news comes up, whether it relates to personalities in Pakistan, whether it relates to Pakistan's efforts in the right direction, and that comes either from within the country, from certain hostile elements, or from outside the country, from nations that are hostile to Pakistan, don't want Pakistan to succeed economically. So this, I feel, will be maybe that step that would be able, will be able to curtail them to a certain,
Sir,
extent.
The point that I was trying to make, sorry, I just lost both. The whole thing that I was saying is, the problem with social media is that one person posts something, the canvas is so large that before you know it, it's going to be spread among
and
the
nobody
whole country.
verifies when you get some kind of a news. You don't know whether it's fake or whether it is not. You don't want to confirm whether it's fake or not, and then you distribute it amongst other people, and this is how the news is distributed.
It's very interesting you said this. In my hometown, even today in this day and age, like I said earlier, because the social media is a new concept, a lot of people now, when they're quoting news, or when they're quoting, one of the source that they quote is Facebook. Like for them, for the people in my village, if they see something on Facebook, it's very hard for them to comprehend that it could be fake or it could be baseless. So having said that, yes, it was very, very important. But the more important element is to educate the people, because it's a new concept. It's not it's probably the first generation that is started using social media in this way. Even in the West, it's not a problem over here. Even in the West, they're debating, they're thinking how to at what age should kids be allowed to use social media, or what
there are certain countries that have put restrictions as far as the age of children under which you cannot use social media.
Absolutely, like I said earlier, now in this day and age, a lot of our hostile countries, instead of sending armies, they have started a digital war within countries to create chaos. So to curtail that, this was very important. And like I said earlier, like a lot of the news that is once it starts circulating on social media, before it's verified, people start believing it. And once there's a saying that perceptions are larger than reality. So social media plays a very vital role in creating perceptions. So at this juncture that Pakistan stands, it's very important that some positivity should be spread. So with this law, definitely people are going to think, because now there are going to be consequences. Before there weren't consequences. And secondly, like, I wouldn't say that everyone who misuses social media, it's because they want to create
no, but people are not really, don't they have the time to see whether the news is true or false. They get it from their family members, they get it from their friends, they don't and they feel it's authentic, so they distribute it amongst their friends, and thus fake news might easily be circulated within minutes to hundreds of thousands of people, and we don't even know whether that news is or is not correct. And that is why it is important to understand this from the very base, to nip the thing in the bud, as we say.
See, for the society to function, there has to the state and the masses, they have to be on the same page.
But it's important, for that everybody needs to be on one page, because you need to understand the importance of curtailing fake news. Fake news is something that creates wedges between societies, between religions, and between people, and that is what needs to be taken care of.
See, but there's one more thing I would like to see. One of the reasons, like I said, I was mentioning our neighboring countries or other countries. See, Pakistan right now, since our focus is on CPAC, and now China wants to revive their ancient Silk Route, it's a very ambitious plan that we have together, we're working on. So there are a lot of neighboring countries, without naming them because it's very obvious, who do not want this to go through. One of the biggest flagship the port is going to be built in Gwadar, and so on and so forth. So for them to, especially like in Balochistan, the youth are being, investments from other countries are being made to mislead the youth, especially towards, create some sort of a hostility, especially towards the armed forces.
And then there are the proscribed organizations, and that is also what this law or this amendment brings forth, is that the statements of proscribed organizations or their representatives or members thereof shall not be streamed or made available for viewing on social media platforms in any manner. That I feel is also important, because we see many a time statements of such proscribed organizations once some heinous incident has happened anywhere, and then they say, we are responsible and we are very proud that this has happened and we are doing this is our aim, this is our objective. And we have seen many a time on social media.
In the larger interest of the country and in maintaining public order, this was very important. But like I said earlier, like even before there were cybercrime control laws, but those were being dealt by the FIA or the police. Now the good thing is that professionals, people who know about this, people who have education about this, and then there's also people from the media, and that all this coming together is a very positive, we're heading toward, and on top of that, the fact that they're going to educate the people on the actual use of this. Like if you look at it in this manner, it's a very commendable job that this government has done. It was need of the hour. See, a lot of the sectarian violence in Pakhtunkhwa, it was instigated through social media. Then if you go like earlier, although I don't want to politicize this, but a political party was demonstrating in Islamabad. Now they took social media, and a lot of fake videos were uploaded. to show as if there was a huge massacre. You know, stuff like this definitely needs to be curtailed. See, although Pakistani, the masses are very patriotic, but at the same time we as a nation are also we're very emotional, and we're emotional and judgmental. This is the way I would describe the Pakistani society. So it was very important that the information being given to the youth, it should be regularized. So it's a very commendable job, and hopefully in the coming days we're going to see a lot of difference in the use of social media, which earlier we were not. Also they're also going to control some of the obscene videos, which was also very important. Then now, and there's another point in this, like earlier we've seen a lot of female politicians, they being harassed through social media, the fake videos.
The use of AI for that.
There you have it. So that was also very important. But now considering all that, there's a terminology used which is called like there's one element which is being funded by the other countries, but there's also a local element which are known as the cyber warriors, so-called cyber warriors. So they do I think it was much better that they should not have to deal with the FIA or the police, rather a separate authority should be. And above all this is also going to lessen the burden on FIA and the police, because traditionally though they were dealing with this was also very important, because our law enforcement agencies, because of the whole terrorism situation and other the law and order situation, they're already overstretched. So
Daniyal, I'd like to understand another thing. You know, we've just talked about the Social Media Protection Regulatory Authority that has been mentioned as to be established as far as this under this act. Now, one of the powers of this authority as per the bill is that it will have the power to issue directions to a social media platform for removal or blocking of online content if it was against the ideology of Pakistan. I think that's also a very important point, but that brings me to the very interesting suggestion, or should I say point as well. Important social media platforms, when we ask them to block it, how much do they comply with authorities when they do so?
Well, before that, like now, like I said earlier, it's very important to educate. See, the very unfortunate thing with our younger generations is unfortunately they don't even know the meaning of Pakistan or the whole idea or the whole concept. And it is very important for them to be educated on the whole ideology of Pakistan. And in this, I'm going to blame all the past governments, meant that they did not play that role to create that consensus of the whole inception of Pakistan. Unitarily, everyone should have known the concept behind why we needed an Islamic state, why we separated from India. What the situation over there was, then the mass migration that happened, all those precious lives that were lost in the process. The whole concept of Pakistan needs to be told to the young generation.
But also the very important thing that I think this bill proposes is to regulate all that is fake, to regulate all that is against the Constitution of Pakistan, to regulate all that could, lead to a further disarray within the society, that could lead to issues within societies and within sects and within religions. And I think it was high time something like this happened. There needs to be a control. There are controls everywhere across the world, and Pakistan should be no exception.
Sir, this is just like questioning it would be like questioning a traffic light. Well, at some point the government has to regulate, because see, now, like I said earlier, if I'm moving my hand around, it's my fundamental right, it's not an issue. But if my hand is touching you, then I'm entering your domain. So similarly, a lot of people are being caused mental distress because of the misuse of social media. And like I said earlier, the youth, some of the youth who follow the propaganda on social media, it's leading them towards mental illnesses and depression, and they're going towards drugs and
at the end of the
polarization of society.
Whether there is mental disdain or not, the fact is that there should be a proper differentiation between what is right, what is wrong, what is true and what is false. And I think that differentiation needs to be highlighted more often than ever. And why not through acts? Why not through amendment bills to tell people this is right, this is wrong, this is as per the Constitution of Pakistan, this is against the Constitution of Pakistan. And to streamline things in such a manner, at least on social media, so that people understand and move in the right direction instead of being blown over by all kinds of negative or falsified or sensational content.
Absolutely, and that too, and like you said earlier, see, the concept of accountability or the concept of punishment is something that's very.
I think I'll leave it at that, Daniyal. Accountability starts with yourself, and then as we were discussing before the show, and then it moves to your near and dear ones. And the accountability is very important, whether it be on social media, whether it be in your own lives. We need to correct ourselves, we need to correct the society, and we need to correct our social media in ways so that the nation could move forward in a more constructive manner. I think this is what it is all about, and not much should be read about it apart from the fact that it's a step in the right direction. Thank you very much, Daniyal, to have joined us. Daniyal Sheikh, ladies and gentlemen, political analyst, joining us to talk about the Peca Amendment Bill 2025 that has been passed by the National Assembly. Let's come to our second story, and that concerns the road to hepatitis-free Pakistan by 2030. Now, hepatitis, whether it be A, B or C, but all three kinds of hepatitis are detrimental to your health, especially hepatitis C. Pakistan has the highest prevalence of hepatitis C in the world. Now, recognizing the seriousness of this critical health challenge, the Prime Minister initiated a program known as the Road to Hepatitis-Free Pakistan by 2030, which encompasses screening, testing and therapy for the CV patients. Now, initiative has been very well received as far as the health sector is concerned, with notable figures from all segments which are responding to it in a very, very constructive and positive manner. This program is funded by the government of Pakistan and not by the World Health Organization or any other foreign donor agency. All resources are sourced from the Pakistani taxpayers' money. We've been joined by two guests to discuss more on that. Let me introduce. Okay. So let me introduce you our guest online. First of all, Dr. Huma Qureshi, Technical Advisor, Hepatitis-Free Pakistan, joins us online. Dr. Huma, thank you very much to have joined us. Before we go to our guest in the studio, I'd like to understand a little bit about this road to hepatitis-free Pakistan by 2030. How important was the initiation of this program at this stage in 2025? What were the challenges that you think led to a program such as this?
So thank you very much. Actually, this problem has been there for many years, hepatitis C, because we knew for almost past 10 years that Pakistan had a very high disease of hepatitis C. And we were all the time trying to convince the government that we should really target develop a program and implement it so that we can eliminate the disease. But actually, the real push came once Egypt, which had the highest prevalence in the world, was able to eliminate hepatitis C from the country last year. So that was actually the pushing factor, and that really kind of told people that this is possible. So that's where we started convincing our Prime Minister that, if Egypt could do it, we should also do it. And now, as you have already told, that we have the highest prevalence of hepatitis C in Pakistan.
Talk about the prevalence, Dr. Huma. In a short while, we've also been joined in the studios by Dr. Nuzat Murshahid. She's a hematologist. Thank you very much, Dr. Nuzat, to have joined us. Dr. Nuzat, hepatitis C has been prevalent in Pakistan since a very long time, but only now are we now taking the important steps such as hepatitis-free Pakistan by 2030. What led to the initiation of such a program, and how important is it in this day and age to stop the prevalence, to stop the spread of hepatitis, especially hepatitis C?
Thank you very much. Certainly some part has been alluded by Dr. Huma, that the background to it, that why we did it, and of course the highest prevalent country in Amro region used to be Egypt, but now it's Pakistan, and the proof of concept has actually motivated many people that and many countries that we can do it. Plus, the one big factor that has happened is that the antiviral treatment, the direct oral treatment for hepatitis has become very cheap. And this is one of the reasons for that is that we are making these drugs in the country. And now a 12-week treatment, oral treatment is like $5,000, 5,000 rupees, which is very affordable. And so that's why we looked into that this need to be eliminated in order to, once a certain threshold of people are don't have a hepatitis, then the transmission is going to get very low. So that's why we were going after the treatment, but that should not undermine that we need to prevent it as well.
True.
And the one big area where I am involved for prevention is the blood transfusion. And the other thing that has happened well in Pakistan, and I must congratulate all those people who have taken the initiative to make IVDs in Pakistan, like rapid devices which we used to import. The technology is here and we are manufacturing it. And that could that again will contribute to actually lowering the cost. So it has become so affordable that we can look at eliminating that.
Dr. Nuzat, but the fact remains that a lot of people, especially in the villages and the small cities, don't screen themselves as far as hepatitis is concerned. They might have gotten hepatitis one way or the other, but they don't know, or they don't want to take the step to go and have themselves tested or have themselves screened. How can we push that public to go for screening so that we have a more general idea on how many patients of hepatitis A, B or C are prevalent in Pakistan?
I think it has a multi-pronged strategy. It's not going to be one thing. It has to be all things going together. As I said, that mass media campaign, motivating the people about the risk, what is hepatitis C, how it is contracted, how you need to prevent it, how you can avoid it. And with this program, what opportunities they have to get it, and of course it has to be pushed by as well by the strategists that have designed this program, and this is part of
So it's an ambitious program.
Yes, it is ambitious and it needs a multi-pronged strategy, but then there's a low-hanging fruits as well. I hope they are part of the strategy. Dr. Huma is going to probably elucidate it on further, and that is that we are collecting about 3.5 million units per year, and somehow all of them get screening. Whether a good technology or bad technology, that is another question, but those are actually healthy donors who didn't know that we have hepatitis C, and they donate blood and they come up with, and they turn out to be positive. And I tell you a very interesting experience. I have been associated with this blood transfusion field for last 25 years, and we take very proactive steps actually to, once we have a donor who has screened positive for hepatitis C, HIV or hepatitis B, we contact them and we send them report. And the thing is that what we have observed is people actually, the donors don't come back. Even when we are offering that we are going to counsel you, we are going to confirm this, and we are refer.
Are there stigmas attached to this?
We lately actually conducted research. We are going to publish it soon, and after 6 months or 4 months and 1 year later, we contacted them. Look, we informed you. What did you do? Why didn't you come? Most of the people didn't take it seriously. They said that, okay, I didn't have the time. Somebody said that we don't trust actually because we appear healthy. So they are going to appear healthy because they are asymptomatic carriers right now, and they need to be aware that what this is going to lead to if it doesn't get treated. But that's the type of response that we're getting. So that also gives us an opportunity to have more informed decision how we are going to go about. The other important thing is this: people who are involved in blood transfusion services need to be part of this thing, part of this strategy, so that they are already screening from their own resources or paid by the patient themselves, and these are the people we need to go after.
Agreed, 100%. Coming to Dr. Huma Qureshi, Dr. Huma, do we in Pakistan have the necessary infrastructure to cater to a program as ambitious as the Hepatitis-Free Pakistan?
Yeah, actually, because we do have infrastructure available in Pakistan, because like we have the primary care and secondary care and tertiary care, and what we have really done is that we are going to go down up to the level of the RHC, or rural health center, or a basic health unit, and that's where we would undertake the screening of these people. So the going to the RHC or a BHU level means that we are almost reaching the grassroots. But the larger test or the PCR test or the confirmatory test would be done at the at district level or maybe at the provincial level. But reaching out to the community, because as Dr. Nuzat said, that people are not aware of it. And in this program, we have to screen each and every one of us who is more than 12 years of age. That means that everybody in Pakistan will have to be screened in these 5 years. And anybody who is found positive will have to be treated. So that's why we thought that it would not be possible for us to call everybody at the tertiary care. So we should strengthen our primary healthcare sites, and then we should call these people for screening there. Plus, we will also be using the corporate sector and the schools and the colleges and the universities and banks and Benazir Income Support Program and all others, where we have a large group of people, so that they could be screened there and then rather than they come to the health facility. So we will be using multi-pronged approach for the screening of the population. Yeah.
When you talk of a multi-pronged approach, I'd like to understand where you will begin it from. I mean, what will be the starting point?
So the first is that we would prefer that people come to the health facilities. So there would be a lot of awareness campaign followed by people to come to the health facilities for the screening. And then as we move with the facility screening, we would also see the turn around of the people. And then I think almost simultaneously we'll start reaching out to the schools, colleges and universities, because the research has shown that with all the awareness and everything, about 20-30% people come to the health facilities. But reaching out to them, then you can really go up to almost 80%. So that's how we have divided it. So these would be two parallel approaches going simultaneously.
When you compare our approach vis-a-vis the local industry, and I'll ask the question to the both of you, with countries in our immediate neighborhood, like for example Bangladesh, like for example India, how do you compare and contrast that? Can we learn from other experiences, or are we going to make our own experience even better than theirs?
So actually, there's a program in India, but again, they're also inviting everybody to the health facilities for screening, but they do not have a national program for screening. They're doing it in regions or in provinces or in areas where there is high prevalence. But we are doing it all over Pakistan, and we are going, but it would be in two phases. In the first phase, we will be addressing the high prevalence districts. And in the second phase, we'll be addressing another, 50% of the population. So in the first phase, 50% population living in the high infected districts of Pakistan will be catered. And then in the next 3 years, the other population would be catered. Bangladesh, unfortunately, does not have a hepatitis program as strong as ours. So in this region, I think currently we have the strongest program running in Pakistan.
How cost effective, Dr. Nuzat, is all this program, including the screening, going to be, and how can we make it more cost effective?
Exactly. One of the big things that I just pointed out is that you try to incorporate your own, IVDs that produced in the country. That, for example, the one which is imported is costing around $40, 65 rupees or 70 rupees. And what we are producing is 40 rupees. Of course, the quality matter has to be looked into. I don't know, I'm not privy to whether IVD's evaluation was done by the right people, but I know of my many colleagues who have not been involved as a pathologist for validating. Yes, we have to have the same quality of what is our criteria for the quality, whether it's our own produce or it is coming from outside, it has to meet that quality criteria. And what WHO actually guides is very well that countries should be empowered to actually validate these the kits and IVDs that is produced within the country. So if they are up to the mark and up to the quality, then they should be one way of making it cost effective. Secondly, a big question is again about PCR thing. I don't know whether Dr. Huma can again comment on that. What is happening is PCR, which is on important technology because we don't have a local production. So it is minimum was going to be charged to the government would be 5,000. We need to look into that, but of course, everybody knows commercially it is also very expensive. The big question would come in fact, I was in a meeting where I discussed with the International Hepatitis Elimination Initiative, which is again a non-governmental, and I asked them, what is your experience? What if we have people who are just turning antibody positive and we treat them without doing hepatitis C PCR? And they gave me a very interesting input, and they said we had a case in Africa where they had a lot of treatment piled up in their warehouses and it was not being used, and people were not didn't afford the PCR. So, they started doing treatment without that. I mean, but I am not the right person to comment on that, but maybe the hepatologists and gastroenterologists were making the strategy, but this is again one thing, and of course, looking into some cheaper technologies there and ultimately encouraging our own production for molecular testing as well. Thirdly is, if we look at the data that was published in 2023, Dr. Huma would also know about that. The calculation is that we need to screen 69 million people above 12 years of age.
That is what she also alluded to.
Yes, 69 million, and out of these 5 million are going to probably undergo PCR testing, and then there are all those who are going to be PCR positive tested, they are going to be treated, and that turns out to be right now 600,000, more than 600,000 people per year. That is our goal. So, it is a huge, definitely you can look at that, but then there is other lessons from Egypt. You were asking what is the experience with Bangladesh. They didn't have they don't have that huge program, but Bangladesh, Egypt has lot of good lessons to offer to us. Initially they started off with the screening, and then they said that the conversion rate for the treatment was a problem because you didn't provide them a one window operation, and then they started looking into providing one window operation. That would mean that the patient is not turning up the second time for second test, you are offering them at simultaneously. How you do it? They did it, they made then they learned it, they made focal places. And of course, Dr. Huma, as you say, it would be very great thing if we are able to achieve it at a very grassroots tehsil level.
That is the most important, to go to the small villages, to go to the small cities where people A, don't understand the whole concept of it all, and B, are very hesitant to move forward.
Yes, and then at the same time working, and I will be surprised, you will be surprised if I quote you example. I was before 2019, I was at Armed Forces Institute of Transfusion, which is a big place, a referral center as well. Somebody requested, they had procured from the public sector IVDs kits, the rapid devices that we use for blood donor screening, and they asked us, like, look at the quality. I was absolutely shocked to find out when we did it properly that HIV kit was not working.
Oh.
So, that means it is not only that we are bringing it from outside, it is very important what happens to the supply chain. Where did it go wrong? So, we need to have that capacity with us properly, so that we know whatever is coming in the country works, whatever is produced in the country works as per the criteria.
That is very, very important. So, we'll have to maybe have specialists for that, or maybe skilled technicians that will have to, before they are used, understand and see or test them for their compliance.
We do have a capacity, that is not a problem. You need to get to the right people and know that the system has to be in place, that these devices are working. So, you can imagine, I still lately came across the donor was screened somewhere, as test was negative, and we went to a superior technology and returned positive, and the blood products were already transfused by someone. So, it is not only hepatitis C, hepatitis B, fortunately we have a treatment, we do not have a treatment, we have the long life treatment for HIV. So, it's a definitely emergency that needs to be declared, that has to be a multi-pronged strategy that needs to involve so many players in it, and all the professionals and everyone from different walks of life and different areas.
Need to be on one page and need to be determined as ever and passionate as ever to bring this once and for all to an end. Well, which brings me to the issues that Dr. Nuzat has pointed out. Dr. Huma, talking about PCR and the cost effectiveness of the PCR, or putting into effect the data that, as Dr. Sahaba pointed out, in 2023, and how many people need to be screened properly, and how many people we need to understand what is the basic database and how many are or are not positive when it comes to hepatitis. Compliance could be an issue. Supply chain needs to be properly determined as well. Capacity, as Dr. Sahaba says, is there, but that also needs to be properly streamlined. How do you see all of this system? How should we make it more effective? What should be the methodology?
So yeah, these are issues, but we have already kind of addressed most of these. We have developed a special software for this program, which has been developed by the Punjab Hepatitis Control Program, because they were already working on the Punjab was already working on this software for the past 4, 5, 6 years. So then we requested them to make the software for the whole country with some obviously more added parameters. So we have a software which works both online and offline, and you can download it on a mobile phone or on a laptop or a desktop or whatever you want. So this software not only captures the risk factors, but it also captures the patient's PCRs and the treatments. And if somebody misses the treatment, like doesn't come back for the refills, there are reminders sent through this software to these people. So this software is really going to be our lifeline. And this has already been tried and tested in Punjab for the past 4, 5 years. But even for the whole country, we have kind of dished it out to all provinces and the 2 regions. And these 4 provinces and the regions have already been trained on the use of this software. So this is how it will work. And then for the PCR, we are recommending the use of the WHO pre-qualified PCR kits. And although in the private sector the PCR might be expensive, but in the public sector a good PCR costs about 1,500 or 1,600 rupees. And that's what Punjab government has been, and it's a WHO pre-qualified PCR. So when you buy in bulk, then the cost really goes down. So we are talking about a cost of about 1,800 rupees or maybe less than 2,000 rupees. So we have really worked out on the rapid test. We have worked out on the PCR cost. We have worked out on the medicines cost, because we are using the medicines which are made in Pakistan. These have been tried and tested, and they're working very well. And because they're made in Pakistan, so they're the cheapest in the world. So hopefully, as you were saying, that how will we make it cost effective? So we have really pushed a lot of things out, and we are really working on the core, so that we are able to address with the minimum.
To work at the core, address the issues and work diligently, all as one, all the stakeholders on board, the private sector, the public sector, whether it be on the tehsil level, whether it be on a district level, whether it be in different provinces. Everybody should come together, as the both of you have said very ably, and work together diligently to make this hepatitis-free Pakistan by 2030 program a huge success. We can do that. We only need the right initiative and the right push by everybody concerned. Let's hope this happens, and let's hope this happens by 2030. Thank you very much, Dr. Huma Qureshi, Technical Advisor, Hepatitis-Free Pakistan. Thank you very much, Dr. Nuzat Murshahid, hematologist, who have joined us in the studios as well. This was a very, very interesting topic, and I wish I had more time to discuss with you, but thank you so very much. Kindly stay online stay in the studios with me while I finish today's show. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, 47 universities from Pakistan have made it to the Times Higher Education World University Rankings for 2025. Quaid-e-Azam University, of course, tops the list. It is ranked between 401 and 500 in the rankings, followed by several other institutions that are ranked between 601 and 800. Finally, an interesting development as far as a US court is concerned, which say that elephants are not people. Why they are saying this? Because a bid to free 5 elephants from a Colorado zoo has been rejected because the court ruled that elephants are not people. The Colorado Supreme Court said the matter boiled down to whether an elephant is a person and therefore had the same liberty rights as a human. I leave the rest for you to decide on how this can be interpreted from different angles. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to an end of today's newsroom. We'll see you inshallah tomorrow with new story segments pertaining to us in Pakistan. Stay safe. Allah Hafiz.